Buying a Rolex is a dream come true for many watch lovers, but not every Rolex is a smart investment in 2026. Some models look amazing in the store but will leave you disappointed months later with value drops, maintenance nightmares, or buyer's remorse. In this video, we reveal the top 10 Rolex watches you should think twice about before spending your hard-earned money. From models that lose value fast to watches with hidden problems, we are exposing the truth that Rolex salespeople will never tell you. Number 4 on this list is especially shocking and has left thousands of buyers wishing they had watched this video first. Number 10. Rolex Sky Dweller Blue Dial. Starting at number 10 is the Rolex Sky Dweller Blue Dial, a watch that sounds impressive but comes with serious problems most buyers discover too late. This watch is incredibly complicated with an annual calendar and dual time zone function that looks cool but becomes a nightmare to set and maintain. The Sky Dweller is one of the most expensive Rolex models, yet it depreciates faster than almost any other sports model on the secondary market. The Blue Dial version especially struggles to hold value because the color is polarizing and limits your outfit options significantly. The 42mm case is absolutely massive and wears uncomfortably on most wrists, making it impractical for daily use. Setting the functions requires learning a complex system that even experienced watch owners find frustrating and time-consuming. The service costs for this complicated movement are extremely high, often exceeding $2,000 every 5 to 7 years. Many buyers report the novelty wearing off quickly, leaving them with an expensive watch they rarely wear because it is too bulky and complicated. Number 9. Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36. At number 9 is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36, a watch that seems like a smart entry point but disappoints buyers in unexpected ways. This model lacks a date function, which many buyers realize they actually need after living without it for a few months. The 36mm size sounds perfect, but wears surprisingly small in 2026 when watch trends favor larger sizes between 38mm and 42mm. The simple three-hand design means you are paying premium Rolex prices for a watch with basic functionality that cheaper brands offer. The bright color dials like turquoise and coral look fun initially, but become tiresome quickly and clash with most wardrobes. These trendy colors also hurt resale value badly as they go out of fashion, and buyers prefer classic options. The Oyster Perpetual has zero prestige factor compared to other Rolex models, making it feel underwhelming when people ask about your watch. The watch offers no complications or features beyond basic timekeeping, which feels disappointing at this price point when competitors offer so much more. Number 8. Rolex Daytona White Dial. Number 8 is the Rolex Daytona White Dial, a watch surrounded by hype, but delivering massive disappointment for most actual buyers. The waiting list for this watch is absurdly long, often 5 to 10 years, meaning you will be older and your tastes will have changed by the time you get it. The chronograph functions look impressive, but most owners never use them because starting and stopping pushers constantly wears the movement unnecessarily. The white dial shows every tiny scratch and ages poorly compared to black dials, developing a dingy appearance that looks cheap after a few years of wear. The 40mm case with thick bezel actually wears much larger than the size suggests, making it uncomfortable and top-heavy on most wrists. Gray market prices are inflated to insane levels, 2 to 3 times retail, meaning you lose a fortune if you ever need to sell. The tachymeter bezel serves almost no practical purpose in modern life unless you are actually racing cars professionally every weekend. Number 7. Rolex Milgauss White Dial. At number 7 sits the Rolex Milgauss White Dial, a watch that seems unique but becomes a regret purchase for multiple disappointing reasons. The green sapphire crystal is the signature feature, but it creates a weird color cast that makes the white dial look sickly and off-color in certain lighting. This watch was designed for scientists working near magnetic fields, a problem that basically does not exist anymore in the modern world. The lightning bolt seconds hand looks quirky at first, but becomes annoying as it draws attention away from the time and looks childish on a luxury watch. The 40mm size and thick case make it wear larger and bulkier than comparable sports models, reducing comfort significantly during all-day wear. Resale value on the Milgauss is terrible compared to other Rolex sports models, often selling for thousands below retail on the secondary market. The white dial version especially struggles because it lacks the character of the blue dial, and the anti-magnetic feature nobody actually needs feels like wasted engineering. Number 6. Rolex Air King 34mm. Number 6 is the Rolex Air King 34mm, a watch that disappoints buyers who expected more from the Rolex name and reputation. The 34mm size is simply too small for modern tastes and looks like a vintage women's watch on most adult wrists today. The dial design is cluttered and confusing with oversized numerals at 3 par 6 to 9 that look unbalanced and ruin the classic Rolex aesthetic completely. This model uses the basic 3130 movement without date, which feels like getting less watch for your money compared to other Rolex options. The Air King has zero heritage appeal despite the name because Rolex discontinued the good versions, and this modern interpretation feels soulless. The watch has no real purpose or identity, failing as both a pilot's watch and a sports watch, leaving it in an awkward middle ground. Resale value is among the worst in the Rolex lineup because nobody wants a confused design that is too small for current trends. Many buyers regret not spending slightly more for a Submariner or Explorer that actually holds value and wears properly on modern wrists. Number 5. Rolex Datejust 36 Two-Tone Diamond Dial. At number 5 is the Rolex Datejust 36 Two-Tone Diamond Dial, a watch that screams regret for buyers who want to be taken seriously. The two-tone steel and gold combination looks flashy, but ages terribly as the gold plating wears down to reveal steel underneath after normal use. The diamond dial sounds luxurious, but makes the watch impossible to read quickly because the diamonds replace hour markers and catch light in confusing ways. This configuration appeals mainly to older buyers with conservative tastes, meaning younger buyers quickly realize they bought their grandfather's watch by mistake. The 36mm size combined with the busy diamond dial makes the watch feel small and cluttered, like costume jewelry rather than serious timepiece. Two-tone Rolex watches have the worst resale value in the entire brand because they are hard to sell and appeal to a very limited buyer pool. The fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet add to the dressy look, making the watch useless for casual or sports situations where you actually want to wear it. Number 4. Rolex Cellini Date. Breaking into number 4 is the Rolex Cellini Date, a watch that has left thousands of buyers with genuine regret and financial loss. This dress watch sits in Rolex's forgotten collection because absolutely nobody wants a Rolex without the crown logo prominently displayed on the dial. The Cellini uses a different case design and loses all the iconic Rolex sports watch appeal that made you want a Rolex in the first place. Dress watches in general are falling out of fashion as people prefer versatile sports watches they can wear with anything from suits to shorts. The leather strap requires regular replacement at significant cost and never feels as premium as the metal bracelets on proper Rolex sports models. Resale value is absolutely catastrophic, often losing 40 to 50% of retail value immediately because dealers do not even want to stock these watches. The Cellini has no water resistance to speak of, meaning you constantly worry about rain, hand washing, and any moisture exposure during daily wear. Most buyers realize too late they bought the wrong Rolex and should have chosen literally any sports model instead for better value and versatility. Number 3. Rolex Day-Date Rose Gold Green Dial. At number 3 is the Rolex Day-Date Rose Gold Green Dial, a watch that costs a fortune but delivers disappointment in multiple frustrating ways. The full rose gold construction means this watch costs as much as a luxury car, but the soft metal scratches and dents incredibly easily during normal wear. The green dial sounds unique, but looks absolutely terrible, with most clothing colors, limiting when you can actually wear this very expensive investment piece. Rose gold itself is a trendy metal that falls in and out of fashion, meaning your expensive watch might look dated in just a few years. The Day-Date is called the President, but wearing one makes you look like you are trying way too hard to show off your wealth and status. The watch is heavy and uncomfortable for all-day wear because solid gold is dense and the 40mm case contains a lot of precious metal weight. Service costs are extremely high because watchmakers charge premium rates to work on solid gold Rolex models, sometimes $3,000 or more per service. The green dial depreciates faster than classic colors because it appeals to very few buyers when you eventually want to sell or trade up. Number 2. Rolex GMT-Master II Pepsi Vintage. Taking number 2 is the Rolex GMT-Master II Pepsi Vintage, a watch that seems like a smart investment but becomes a money pit and headache. Vintage Rolex watches need constant expensive maintenance because the movements are old and parts are becoming increasingly difficult to source from qualified watchmakers. The older GMT movements are less accurate than modern versions and require service every 3 to 4 years instead of every 10 years like current models. Buying vintage means dealing with Frankenwatches where previous owners replaced original parts with aftermarket components that destroy value and authenticity completely. The prices for vintage Pepsi GMTs have become absolutely insane due to speculation, meaning you are buying at the peak of a bubble that could crash. Authentication is extremely difficult even for experts, and fake vintage Rolex watches flood the market, making every purchase a massive gamble with your money. Vintage bezels fade and crack with age, and replacing them with original parts costs thousands of dollars if you can even find them. Most buyers realize vintage Rolex ownership means constant stress about authenticity, maintenance costs, and whether they overpaid for a watch with a complicated history. Number 1. Rolex Yacht-Master Rose Gold Oyster Flex. Taking the number 1 spot is the Rolex Yacht-Master Rose Gold Oyster Flex, the ultimate regret purchase that combines every possible Rolex mistake into one expensive disaster. The rose gold case costs an absolute fortune, but the rubber Oyster Flex strap makes the watch look cheap and contradicts the luxury metal entirely. The strap degrades over time with exposure to sunlight, sweat, and oils, meaning you will need expensive strap replacements every few years on a watch that costs more than most cars. The Yacht-Master has zero tool watch credibility despite being a sports model because it is purely a fashion piece that actual sailors never wear. The matte black dial and rose gold combination looks trendy now, but will be embarrassingly dated in 5 years when tastes change and rose gold falls out of fashion again. This configuration has terrible resale value because the buyer pool is incredibly small for people wanting rose gold with a rubber strap combination. The watch is uncomfortable in hot weather because rubber retains heat and rose gold conducts warmth, making your wrists sweat constantly during summer months. At the insane price point, you could buy multiple better Rolex models or a superior watch from brands like Patek Philippe that hold value better.